Today's video is brought to you by Cars and Bids, my online enthusiast car auction site that recently sold this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
I'm so sick of people going Q8, Q8, Q8.
Q8.
Stop!
Electric car!
Porsche Taycan!
And I'm going, but I thought it was pretty cool. This is Doug DeMuro, and this
is Alanis King. Wow.
Nice.
Look at that. I'm catching on.
Where are you from?
I'm from Texas.
And what do you do?
I do car things. I'm a car expert, you could say.
Car expert, yeah.
Yeah, you could say that. I have a podcast about Formula One.
What else?
I wrote a book about Formula One. I do car reviews, all kinds of stuff.
Do you remember the names of the publications?
Road and Track. I work for Top Gear sometimes. I used to work for Jalopnik. I've got all these places. You know, we have a great time.
And today we're going to talk about cars that are more fun than you'd think.
Oh, I love this.
Cars that you'd think aren't that fun, but they are.
They are very fun.
Let's do it.
I think this is a very broad topic because you could take this a lot of ways.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was...
You could go really weird. You could go normal but underrated. You could
even go fun, but it's even more fun. Because I have a couple of those.
I have those too. You could even go, people need to shut up about this car because I'm sick of hearing that it sucks.
Right, like the C8. I almost put that on my list. Everybody's like, no, the C8's overrated. No.
I have things like this on my list. Like, there's every flavor here.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to start.
Go.
Cars that are more fun than you think. I am starting with the Porsche Taycan. People hear about electric cars.
It's true.
And they're like, electric car!
Porsche Taycan!
And a lot of electric cars are boring and dumb. But they serve a purpose, which is great.
Okay.
The Taycan, though, is legitimately fun.
Yeah.
It, drives fantastically.
Yeah.
It steers, it handles great. I tell people it drives like a Porsche. It's an electric car, so but it drives like a Porsche. And it's great. And I think a lot of people want to dismiss all electric cars just as a broad...
Oh, we can't have electricity.
Yeah, that's what they say. What electricity?
No.
And there are a couple that I think fit into this category of more fun than you'd think. But the Taycan specifically, because everybody knows the Rivian is fun. It's incredibly fast. You can take it off-roading. Everybody's seen those videos.
Yes.
But the Taycan, I think, kind of falls by the wayside. You hear about GT4s and GT3s, and those are the fun Porsches. The Taycan, they just make...
We need 911s.
Right. And the Taycan is like this electric car that you have to make for whatever.
Yeah.
No, it is legitimately an exciting and enjoyable car to drive. And I think it doesn't get enough cred for really being actually fun in addition to being, the electric Porsche.
You know, I have not driven a Taycan yet, but I did have a 911 last year, around this time last year, and I had the PDK 911, and I was really sad when it showed up because I didn't know what it was going to have. I was like, it's not a manual, it's a PDK. That car is really fun.
Porsche just makes good cars.
It's so good. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have a manual. Yes, would I prefer a manual? But did I have the time of my life with that PDK? It was just so smooth, so perfect.
In my mind, the benefit of Porsche is they make incredibly fun, great cars they have
do.
forever. The drawback is they're relatively common compared to some of the cars that bring more emotion.
Yes.
But there's a reason people buy 911. They're usable. You can drive them. There's a reason they're common. And the Taycan is included in them.
I love that.
More fun than you think. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to stay on the electric train right now. And this is a car that people actually consider fun, but they're not considering it as fun as they should. The Kia EV6 GT.
Yeah.
I drove it recently, and what was really interesting was I got in it, and I floored it, and I was like, this is so slow. Because I wasn't in GT mode, and I didn't realize that, it is so reined in when you're not in GT mode. It's a very normal car. Yes, it's because your range on the EV6 GT is actually 100 miles less than it is on the less powerful vehicles. So the less powerful ones are the mid 200s in horsepower, and they have 300 miles of range.
Yeah.
This one's 576 and it has 200 miles of range.
576 horsepower in a mid-size Kia.
Yes.
The concept of it is so insane.
Yes, and you have 200 miles of range, and that's an issue, but it is what it is. It's fun. You click this GT button that's green. It's on the steering wheel. You click this, and you just barely press the gas, and it just breaks your neck, hair in your face. Shocking.
It also looks cool.
It looks cool. It's great, and we are sold as the Kia EV6 is fun. It's sold as that. It has drift mode, it has all that. They're like, this thing is so fast. but you don't really take their word for it. Even if you know electric cars are great, like
it's a crossover.
It's a crossover.
It's a Kia crossover.
Exactly. And I think the interesting thing about electric cars is that we know they're fast. We know they have instant torque, which basically we don't have a torque curve. We don't go get faster. We just go straight from the get-go, all the power. You know that with an electric car, but you still can't prepare yourself for how fast the EV6 is.
Some of them are,
the GT is so fast, and you floor it, and it just kind of squats.
Yeah.
It just kind of squats, and it goes, and you're like, this is a good car.
Yeah.
This is a really, really, really good car, and I knew it would be, but I didn't know it would be that good.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one that is more fun than people would think.
Okay.
The 2005 to 2010 Mercedes-Benz SLK 55 AMG.
Okay, no, yes.
Do you remember this car?
Yes, of course I do.
Little SLK, but
I
had a
look
V8.
this thing up all the time.
These are cool.
This is
Have you
one of
driven
those.
these?
I have not, but it's on my rotation of I look it up regularly.
So you look at this car.
Yes.
And the SLK does not have a reputation for being like the Miata, like a performance. That's not how it's
like,
thought
why
of.
would you buy that when you could buy a Miata?
It's like a luxury Miata. That's how people it's the Miata, but it's been ruined with leather and automatic transmission.
Right. And every time you look at this car, every time I look at it, I just think
right. But then
that's just what it looks like.
But this version, this V8 one, they never should have put a V8 in a car. I mean, the concept was stupid, but Mercedes at the time was putting V8s in everything you could find.
Ooh, take it all.
And so they did that in this car, and it had 360 horsepower in a car truly a little bigger than a Miata.
Yes.
And it's weird because you don't associate this car with any sort of performance or aggressiveness or muscle or anything, and then you get in and you turn it on and it's like, what is going on here?
What is happening? What am I in?
It's actually kind of fun. They tuned it well. The steering and handling is pretty good, as it should be, because it's a little car. Obviously, it's got an old torque converter automatic, and it's heavier than it ought to be, and blah, blah, blah. But so it's not like the funnest car in the world.
But it's more fun
for
than
what it is, it is more fun than you'd think.
It's more of
when I think of an SLK, I do not think of it being fun.
I think that's a good pick.
Yeah.
I really like that pick because that is a pick that people they look past because there are other cars in that general category.
Right.
Not necessarily like the V8 category, whatever, but like cars like the Miata, people were just...
The Miata, the Z3, right? You can get a Z3M, and people look at those, and those are sticks. And I get that the manual plays a role, but those early Z3Ms had 240 horsepower. Yeah. This thing's got 350 and a V8.
Thing is just
pretty cool.
Weird. Yeah. I like that pick. I think that's a great pick.
Those were fun cars. They were more fun than I was expecting. I found out about them years ago. I Turo'd one in Charleston, South Carolina. It was the only cool car on Turo in Charleston.
I love that.
I was like, all right. And the dude had it straight piped because in South Carolina, he was Turoing a straight piped SLK 55.
I think that's great.
So like, all right.
I think that's great.
And it was actually really embarrassing driving. Charleston is this like genteel, beautiful southern city with
and then there's
everything.
you.
And I'm driving. But I thought it was pretty cool.
I think I really like that pick. That was a good one.
All right, what do you got next?
Okay, so we've actually discussed this car before, and I won't go into detail about it because we've discussed it before. Polaris Slingshot. Great car.
Slingshot, definitely more fun than you think. The
fun than you
prevailing
think.
thought is that it's annoying and stupid.
You are having a midlife crisis. That is the prevailing
What do you
thought.
do?
What do you do?
They're not that expensive considering the level of like insane thrills.
Great car. Again, it's a go-kart mixed with farm equipment.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it's a good car.
Stupid car, but that's one of its appeals.
Exactly. I totally agree. So we don't have to dwell on that one.
But I do agree that more fun than you'd think is a great thing for that car because I think a lot of people really have a negative view of the Slingshot. Like, this thing is stupid.
Yes.
But actually it's
okay. And so I have another one along those lines. And people are going to be mad because they're like, why are you defending such an expensive car? The Lamborghini Urus.
Oh, really? Why are you defending such an expensive car?
There we go. There's the end.
No, it's not even that. You find the Urus to be fun.
No, listen.
Heinous looking.
Listen. Every response is that. And you're driving this car, and every single person is like, that's an Audi, that's an Audi, that's an Audi, that's an Audi.
It's an Audi.
Everybody says it, and you're in that car, and you're like, you know what? I'm having fun. I like this car. And what's cool about the Urus...
But is it really more fun than you'd think? I mean, it's a Lamborghini with 640... I'm expecting that to be fun.
You're expecting it to be fun, but also are you going to talk down on it? Yes, everybody's talking down on it.
Yeah.
And so that is along the lines of like, just shut up about it. Just
Right.
stop.
That's fair.
And so that is my opinion. Just stop. It's an enjoyable car. And I think the cool thing about the Urus is that it makes business sense, okay?
Yeah.
So you have a Lamborghini, but you need it to be more practical, okay? You can either buy a car from another automaker, because there is no Lamborghini Urus. Like, there is no SUV from Lamborghini, or Lamborghini can make an SUV.
You know what my problem with the Urus is? I was just hoping that they would give us like an off-roader instead of a...
And
like,
that's a fair criticism.
they should have given us a Raptor type car or a LMO2 type, you know?
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. And then they
Yes.
come out with what's essentially a heavily updated RS Q8 or
Yep,
Cayenne
Q8
Turbo.
RS. Yep.
And like, that's fine, but I was hoping for more.
But hear me out. My favorite part of any Lamborghini is the fact that it just makes people's day. And most people don't notice the Urus, especially because I was driving a gray one. People don't notice it.
No,
Like,
yeah.
they really don't. I drive it in track mode in the city just to see if people notice it. And most of them don't.
Yeah.
But the people who do are so excited and they're so happy. And am I having fun? Yes, I'm driving it in track mode in second gear, so it's just like,
It's got that crazy interior too, with that
it
like
has
dial panel and everything.
It has this really cool interior. It makes you feel like you're just kind of the king of the world.
Right.
Like, you've got everything at your fingertips.
Yeah, but I just...
And yes,
Audi.
you're right. But my opinion is like, that reaction is kind of played out. Like,
you're right. It's a
they're
good
gonna
point.
sell it regardless.
It's a good point
It is
in the
enjoyable.
sense that people have kind of knocked it for that.
Yes,
but
like,
it is a fun car. I agree with that. So it fits this category, but at the same
in
time,
a weird way. Exactly. So I said we have like a whole range of things.
Right.
It fits this category. It's a weird one. Why are you defending such an expensive car? Nah. Because I'm so sick of people going Q8, Q8, Q8.
Q8.
Stop!
Q8 looks nice too.
It does. It really
Cayenne
does.
Turbo. Oh.
It really does. But these people don't care. The people who buy the Urus don't care that you think it's an Audi.
That's definitely true.
They don't care.
That's definitely true.
They don't care.
They don't think about me very much at all.
No. And yeah, that was a long week.
That's a reasonable one, but
Yeah.
Q8.
Q8.
Okay, car is more fun than I would think. This one I think you'll support.
Okay.
I don't know if you spent time on one of these, but I think you'll like it. AutoZam AZ1.
I have not been in one, but it's just,
The thing
I
I
want
think
to.
that people think about that car though, when you think about an AZ1, you don't think that it's fun. You
No.
think that it has.
You think that it's quirky.
It's quirky.
Yeah.
It has weird doors. It's
Yes.
little.
Yeah,
but I
that's
drove
what you
one,
think.
shoved myself inside, and drove one. It's like actually, of those three, the Cappuccino, the Beat, the AZ1, AZ1's by far the most enjoyable. It's also the smallest and most difficult to deal with, and it's like the quirkiest, which I think is what its rep is. But like, if you pare down, get past the doors and the littleness, and actually just use the car.
Yeah.
I was blown away. Like, your Miata, one of the things you love about it, I'm sure, is the shifter and the clutch and the way they feel.
Absolutely,
The AZ1 is it's one of the nicest shifters and clutches I've ever felt in any car.
I love that.
Yeah, it's actually good. And
I
it's
really like
mid-engine.
that. Yeah. That's
a cool car.
Yeah, when you think of that car, you think of quirky.
Totally.
You do not think of like fun to
You
drive.
think the whole fun of the car is in
the car.
Exactly.
It's not the driving part of the car. I think that's a really interesting point.
Yeah,
I like
was
that a lot.
surprised how much I like that car. I would never buy one because it's too small, but you should.
I should actually. And what's interesting is you have a lot of picks of non-new cars.
Yeah.
I mainly drive
Yeah.
new cars to review because that's what's available to me. So I often don't drive these older cars. I'm going to drive some older cars in the future. It'll be fun.
And one of them should be an AZ1.
It should. But I mainly drive new cars. So here's a really weird one.
Okay.
A rental spec, the cheapest thing you can get, manual Corolla, the current one.
They still make a manual car.
They do! I had one last year, like to
As a
review
press car?
as a press car from Toyota. And
You
I
requested this?
no,
They just gave it.
no, I didn't. So I called the press fleet and I said, hey, I am coming to the area in like a month. Can I have a car? They didn't respond to me for 2.5 weeks. So we're like a week out and they're like, we have 2 cars left. We have a CX-9, a Mazda CX-9, or a rental spec manual Corolla. And I was like,
this is because the press fleet company manages several different brands, and so they
yes, and they rent out cars and like they basically make schedules for people. So they had 2 cars left over. Basically, the cars that just like weren't picked that week were my choice, and I had 2. And I was
Why
like,
did they even have a manual Corolla in the press fleet?
well, this is the thing. Most of the time, the cars in the press fleet are the top trims.
Right, they're like the
trying
nice...
to. Don't know why this was in the fleet. No idea. Couldn't tell you. And I was like, a manual Corolla that's not like.
I would have gone CX-9.
That's not like
hardcore there.
I know. That's not like
It probably would have been Soul Red.
It would have been Soul Red. It would have been like
heated steering wheel.
Yep. I would have had luxury. I would have been sitting up high. And my husband goes, "Get that Corolla." And I got that Corolla, and I was not expecting to have the time of my life. And let me tell you, this, if you've ever had like a Barbie Jeep, if you blow it up to like normal size, that was kind of how everything felt in it. So the shifter, there were no real defined gates. It was kind of like stirring soup, like you're going into the different gears. Did you have fun in this car
simply because it was kind of trash that you could beat on?
Yeah. I didn't beat on it was the thing. I just thought it was so funny.
Okay,
it was
that
lovely.
is a bad one. Don't listen to that.
That was so great.
I'm going to give you another one that is actually good.
No, that's not what we're here for.
I'm going to give sound, practical advice
That's
today.
not what we're here to do.
I can't believe any of the things I just heard. And the Urus, man, this is like the bad automotive opinions video.
Doug, we're not, like, I have so many opinions about that Corolla. I love that.
And none of them are reasonable.
I formed a bond with that Corolla, Doug.
That's the first time anybody's ever said that.
I formed a bond with it.
After the AE86, nobody has formed a bond with a Corolla
That's
until...
so true. Until me.
Maybe the GR, I guess, exists now.
This is history.
But this is not a GR. Okay. I have a couple more, but I'm going to give only one.
Oh,
I got to decide.
Because you're just too blown away by everything I'm saying.
I'm going to seem like a Porsche person, and I hate that, because I'm not. I really deeply am not.
Would you rather seem like a Porsche person or someone with just deeply bad judgment?
Well, okay.
Because that's what I'm doing.
That's right.
Yeah, deeply bad judgment.
The rest of these are just kind of obvious. I'm just going to go with another Porsche because I just feel like I don't want to be thought of as a Porsche person. Despite this car, I'm not like the Porsche guy.
Doug,
I like this Porsche.
Every time I see a video of yours, you go, "I'm not a Porsche person.
I'm not a Porsche person. I don't own a lot of Porsches.
You know what?
I've never
Despite
had them.
this, I don't want to be a Porsche person.
There's one Porsche.
Every single time I see Doug,
I want to make that clear because people come to me at Cars and Coffee and they're like, "Hey man, you want to check out my Flamin' Blue blah blah blah?" And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. I'm not a Porsche person.
I don't know any of this. Okay, but I'm gonna still give this one as a car that's more funny than think Porsche Macan.
Okay.
And I mention this because I think people think little crossovers are all the same and are all trash. In terms of like from a driving experience perspective. Macan drives amazing.
Yeah.
It's the one that is like really legitimately fun to drive. And that car I think deserves a little bit more cred than it gets. I think people look at it like, oh, the Macan, the cheap Porsche, you get lumped in with like the bore and
not only the cheap one, but the cheap SUV.
The cheap SUV one, right?
Yeah.
So you get lumped in with the crossover people too.
Yeah, it's
but like,
all this.
In reality, drive anything and then drive a Macan. Like any of those, like drive an XC60, drive any of those.
Drive a
GLC,
manual Corolla.
Don't do that.
Rental Spec, and then drive a Macan.
Yeah, you'll think the Macan is great and the manual Corolla is trash, which it is.
Wait till you hear my next one.
Okay, what do you get?
Okay, it's not even a manual, but it's available in a manual. Again, we're on the new car thing. God, Doug, you're gonna hate this. You're gonna cut it out. Hyundai Venue.
That is the worst.
Hyundai Venue.
That is the worst automotive opinion. This is the bad automotive opinions video.
Hyundai Venue.
What do you like about it? It's 96 horsepower.
I like that. I like that it's so. I like that it's so slow.
That's like a legitimately not good car.
I love that it's so slow. I love that it's so cheap. I love everything about it.
Then why not put like the Aveo on this list and the Yaris and?
Because I formed a bond with the Venue.
Was it the denim seats?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So it's the Hyundai Venue denim, okay? And so the Hyundai Venue, if you don't know, it came out in like 2020, I think. And it was offered with
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was offered with a 6-speed manual and a 6-speed automatic.
Is that true that we're manual Venue?
Yes. Now listen,
I won't help it.
We're getting to the, so a year after this thing comes out, they announced that they're dropping the manual because no one bought it.
What a surprise.
So now it's only an automatic. Would I drive a manual Venue? Yes. I loved this car. It was so cute. It was so small. It makes you feel like a little bus driver. Like,
that's not a positive.
It was so... I had the time of my life.
Alanis, normally when we do these videos, I come in here and express some questionable opinions, and people in the comments get mad at me, and they're always like, oh, but your guest was so great.
It's me.
Kenan was so right about the McLaren F1, and you are such an idiot. And now today, finally, you are the one that they are going to complain about. And I have great opinions.
Drive the Hyundai Venue.
Do not drive the Hyundai Venue.
Drive the Hyundai Venue. See you in the comments.
Do not drive the Hyundai Venue.
It's going to be so fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.